Want to thank you all for being here with me today. It's almost 11:30 this morning, Eastern time here in our live trade room. Before we review all these trades today, I do want to remind you guys here there is risk out there in these markets. If you're here with me right now as a guest, we really want to emphasize the fact that the key to our success is not some magical indicator. The key to our success is not some fancy magic wand. The key is a simple, time-tested, proven, and profitable trading plan. Speaking of which, that trading plan is telling us to get short right now at these highs. All right, so 65, 64, 63, there's your time to get short, guys. Take your profit off at 57. Take your profit off at the, I would say, 57 for a target and 40 for a target. 57 and 40 for a target right now on the crude short. Now, those will be both dynamic targets, okay, 57 and 40. I just talked about the fact that we're going to look to sell short below the 68s. Okay, so trade carefully. It's during lunch right now. But again, this should be almost a guarantee. This thing should be almost a guarantee it comes down. The only thing I'd be a little bit worried about is you're over lunch right now, which means low volume, and low volume is inconsistent. So guys, again, if you're a non-member right now, if you haven't gone through our private training sessions, please remember as a member, I'm going to give you every resource you need. I'm going to give you everything you need to make sure that you're not falling victim to the risks like I did. See, when I first got involved with trading almost 12 years ago, nobody told me things like risk-reward ratio. Nobody explained to me how to scale into a trade, how to scale out of a trade. Nobody explained to me that there was a negative correlation between the number of trades I took and my profit and loss statements that day. Nobody ever told me that you don't need to trade 12 hours a day. You only need to trade about 120 minutes. See, nobody ever told me this stuff. Nobody told me that I could basically trade my plan and still not take a single trade today. Did you know that? Did you know that your trading plan should tell you when to trade and when not to trade? See, us human beings, we have no problem figuring out when to pull the trigger, but can we keep the trigger from getting pulled, right? That's always the challenge. So my trading plan tells me what to do, when to do, how to do it, and most specifically, when to do nothing at all. And that's the key to our long-term success. Today was a really good example of a very simple strategy that we use on any market. Today it was referenced on crude. This morning we used two different charts to put together a very bullish sentiment on crude. Let me show you the first one. The first chart we saw today, now let's forget that we ever saw this final candlestick, okay? No cheating. No cheating, okay? Let's forget that we didn't see that final candlestick. There you go. Here's what we talked about at 7:30 this morning. We initially said the buyers tried and failed to push overnight highs. Now, overnight highs for me means London session highs. Okay, we're talking U.S. session right now. So at 5:30 a.m. Eastern time, the buyers failed to push new highs. Then at 9 a.m. Eastern time this morning, the sellers failed to push new lower lows. Clue? Oh, you betcha. The clue we get from this is tremendous. And the clue specifically this morning was, since the buyers had already admittedly failed and the sellers now had failed, we call this a sideways range. What does a range tell me to do? It tells me to buy the lows, and then where's my profit target? At the highs. What if I was at the highs? I would sell the highs. And where would my profit target be? It would be at the lows. So the first thing we saw this morning, and this was right along with our morning prep, which we did in real time. That morning prep is so valuable, folks. What we did was we defined the range. And where were we? At the lows of that range. We found ourselves coming off the lows after the sellers had just failed. Now, I really don't care about the open high, lows, or closes. I don't care about previous highs or previous lows. I don't care about anything else besides the candlesticks on this chart. First clue was sellers had failed at the lows, and the buyers failing at the highs told us where to take profit. Next clue. This clue is going to be a little bit easier. This clue, and the reason why I started off with that 30-minute chart was because that chart didn't give you any clues outside of the candlesticks. This one, though, definitely did. First of all, you can see right away there's the ABCD. So we've been eyeing this C point as support for a couple hours this morning. But here's the big clue we get from this 21 range chart. Let me zoom in, but first let me reload my page. That'll clean off any extra drawing stuff I have in this chart, make it easier for you guys. Now what I'll do is I'll zoom in, and I want to draw your attention right here to the previous low of day. What is the previous low of day? The previous low of day is the low from Monday. Exactly right, the low from Monday. Now look at the low of day from Monday. Question. And let's see how many folks are paying attention here late in the morning. When we tested that previous low of day, was it the first time it was tested or the second time it was tested? When we tested 92.66 on the crude, was it the first time or was it the second time or more? You're exactly right. Good job. Glad to see you guys and gals are with me still. It was the first time. Now, members, do any of you recall the theory that we use of how support and resistance work? Right? We always talk about support is where we expect traders to react. Okay, support's not a brick wall. Okay, it's where we expect traders to react. So when support holds, we look for the reaction, and the reaction, of course, at the lows, we're looking for buyers, at the highs, looking for sellers. And the first time it tests a level, it's like an electric fence, right? It's an electric fence, right? The first time you touch that previous low of day, you're going to wish you hadn't. But the second, the third, the fourth, the fifth, right? That's when, all of a sudden it's like nothing, right? There's no shock at all. Okay, think of it like an electric fence with that battery on there, right? If you touch it once, right, it'll shock you good. Which means the first time it tests that previous low of day, I am looking to be a buyer. Now, the second thing, the second part of this clue is that whenever we fail, whenever sellers fail, what does that tell us again? Buyers will grab control. The opposite is true. Whenever the buyers fail, for example, the reason why you just took profit on that short, we're seeing it happen right now in real time. Don't take my word for it in hindsight. Look what's happening right now. It goes up to the highs of this range. We sell those highs. We buy those lows. I've said this for years till I'm blue in the face. Right? It's the easiest strategy to follow, but for some reason as human beings, we want it more complicated, don't we? Oh yeah, we want some fancy indicator. We need some button to flash. We need some pop-up to occur. We need some major calculation, right? No, it's easy. Trading ranges, use them. They're so much more effective. They're easier. So this morning, what did we see on crude? The sellers failed at the previous low of day. The previous low of day was the first time it had been tested. It's right? It's an electric level. Previous high of day, same thing. So the crude market this morning, we knew right away was going to be bullish. It was an easy set of clues. And then sure enough, we got the nail in the coffin from the inventories at 10:30. The news at 10:30 was as close to a slam dunk, grand slam home run that you can get. What do we get for inventories? Lower inventories, higher demand. Now, we always talk about the nuance of using demand, right? Inventories come out at 10:30. We know to look at the inventory number and the demand. Well, today we got that slam dunk. Inventories were lower. That may mean higher demand or it may mean lower supply. We don't know. But then we see record-breaking demand in crude, and then we know, whoa, this is definitely going to be a lot of demand. So we buy. And as you can see here, with the exception of that last trade I took short, everything here was buying on crude and the Russell. We took the same trade on the Russell today too. So at the end of the day today, those two simple clues that we found this morning, it's always amazing too, because that morning prep that we do, that checklist that we do every morning is so powerful to tell us exactly what we should be doing and when. Today, if you came in and you planned your trades with me and then you traded your plan, you made some great capital. 165 ticks today after making about 50, 60 ticks yesterday. Just a fantastic day. I trade 4 contracts, so you're averaging about $400 and so odd dollars per contract. I'll tell you, forget about the profit I made today. It sounds like members are making money right now this summer. That's all I care about. It sounds like guests are learning more every day here in this room. See, my goal is to earn your trust as a guest by demonstrating to you that this trade room is the absolute best place to learn and earn. So I'm going to work really hard to make sure that while you're a guest with me, you're going to learn everything you need, right, without, of course, giving away the method. So ask those questions, keep coming back during your trial, and don't forget we're here to help you guys every step of the way. So you got your target filled at 57, but now it's starting to take off here for a 21 wave long. Remember, we were talking about this earlier. The volume is just low enough here, folks. I do not see any reason why this price can't go right up to the top of that channel. This is a 21 wave long, the highest percentage trade you'll ever see. It's late in the morning, so be careful. Let's wrap it up. We've got a couple more minutes here for some questions. Great day today, everybody. Great day.